talk to people. I think I'll grab a longsword for the Jaggy that they're gonna ask me to kill. I'm gonna grill while I'm out there. It's worth it. And I'm gonna sell that. You never need, furniture literally has no use. Only 20 zenny, but it's something, I guess. Yeah, I think I'll go with longsword. Okay. So, I think I'll end the video here, and I'll start a new one for the Jackie. Okay. Okay, finished that first video off, and now time for this. They want me to hunt Jaggy, but I'm gonna cook meat also. I'll add an annotation to skip this part in the video, but it's necessary. Cooking meat, at least in the beginning. Later on, there's a way that if you really hate cooking meat for some reason, there's a way later on, you can, I forgot what the combination is, but you can make energy drinks, which will give you some stamina also. What I really recommend you do, actually, once you get later on in the game, just kill a bunch of Royal Ludroth, get dash extracts. You can combine them with golden steaks to make mega dash juices. And those are beautiful, especially for weapons like the lance. You never run out of stamina, and it's amazing. The best way to do this, in my experience, is to just time it to the song. I believe it's like 2 seconds after the song or something. Or the other way you can do it is watch for the bone. The bone will change color when it's well done. You see how the bone changes color right when it turns well done? The meat will turn color once before to become rare, so that's not a great way to measure it. Also on the Wii U, there's a bit of an input lag, so if you're towards the end of that time period where you can become well done, it's a good idea to go a little earlier. I'm not sure how large that window is for well done steak. For those of you completely new to the game, the main thing with the longsword is the spirit gauge, and eventually if you fill it up you can do spirit combos, which are really, really insanely powerful. They don't bounce, and longswords have some of the highest damage output in the game if you know how to use it correctly. The only thing that suffers in is its defense is kind of low, and I'll kind of give a breakdown of every weapon here. I just used hammer. The hammer, in my opinion, is one of the better weapons in the game, and it's generally good game to game also. Like, pretty much every single Monster Hunter game, the hammer is at least decent. But in Tri and in it looks like 3 Ultimate 2, it's a very, very powerful weapon, especially since you're not slow with it equipped usually. If you roll out of the way after attacks, the recovery's not bad. And the biggest thing is just those super pounds are just so powerful. You can move while your attack is charging. It's a pretty easy weapon to master, to be honest. The con is no blocking. If you get hit, if a monster's charging at you with the hammer, there's really not much you can do. The best you can hope for is roll. If you're lucky, you might roll out of the way. Let's see, Lance. Lance, I personally, a lot of people disagree, but I believe Lance is the best weapon in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. And the reason being, it's a hard weapon to master, for sure, but if you can master the Lance, I feel like it has the best defense and the best offense potential in the game. There's just that 3 up stabs back infinite combo with the dodges is just really, really good. That's all there is to it. There's just, and you can go into a counter so easily with it. The counter can, counter goes straight into the combos. It's just overall a really good weapon. The biggest con is it's extremely hard to master. It's easy to get into it, but if you don't know how to use the lance, you're going to be very immobile. So it takes some time to get used to playing with the lance. And also, if you're used to other weapons, you're going to be used to rolling around, whereas with lance, you've got those little back hops. In case you didn't know, one of your bread and butter kind of evasion moves with your longsword, and that's going to make up a lot of your defense, is the Fade Slash. You click X and A at the same time on a classic controller, and you do that, and it's a pretty good distance back, and it does not bad damage either. It's almost as good as a roll. Like, look, from here, if I roll backwards, I go about that much distance. If I Fade Slash backwards, I go almost the same distance. More Jaggy should come out of there pretty soon, hopefully. Let's see if there's anything to gather. There's one. Okay, let's see. Another weapon. Let's say bowgun. I've never really loved the bowgun, to be honest. In online play, it is really, really good, especially if you've got a good status bowgun. People will love you if you go online with a status bowgun. You're literally God if you do that. If you can provide paralysis for your teammates, they will adore you. But offline, it's a bit harder to use offline, especially since if the monster charges, online there are 3 other targets for the monster. Offline, you're the only one, not to mention you're wearing armor that's about half the defense of Blade Master armor. So, I mean, you have to be, if you want to solo with bowguns, you have to be very good at not getting hit. If it's your first time playing Monster Hunter, and you're playing offline, I really would not recommend being a bowgun user. If you're playing online though, for the majority of your time, a bowgunner is not a bad choice. Okay, now let's go on. Sword and Shield. Oh, Sword and Shield. I have a very hard time recommending Sword and Shield for anybody but the absolute you literally, the first time you've ever touched a Monster Hunter game, then maybe I could justify using a Sword and Shield. It is the easiest weapon to use in the game, but I really don't think just the damage output potential, it's not good. If you go online with it and you have a decent status sword, I mean, it's not a bad weapon. You'll be getting statuses off pretty fast if you go on with a good paralysis sword and shield, like a global sword and shield or something. But I have a hard time recommending sword and shield offline or online play. It's just, I mean, I guess its pros are it's very versatile. You can have You can take items while behind the shield. That's a really good. I think that's helpful. You can. It's a very fast weapon. Your running speed with the out is equivalent to your running speed with it sheathed, which is nice. Yeah. That's pretty much it for Sword and Shield. It's just the only con, and a very large con at that, is that it's just so. It's just you can't deal damage wise. You just can't deal as much with the Sword and Shield as you can with other weapons. It's as simple as that.